Okay, all right. Oh, shoot, I already dropped it. Okay. First of all, I would like to apologize. Wait, let me. All right, yeah. I'd like to apologize for the sort of funny fisheye on the camera lens. I put my phone in 0.5 to fit me and the screen in because where the camera is. Yeah. So, for my presentation, I decided that instead of leaving you a bunch of little notes in the slideshow, I would record this video. Said to get creative with it, do an interesting format. So here we are, YouTube video essay style presentation to wrap up for my final project. So we discussed in class. You were like, yeah, go ahead. If you want, you can do your project on Big Trouble in Little China, and so I did. Yeah, thanks for tuning in. Here we go. So Big Trouble in Little China and how Hollywood should be. So first of all, let's get a little background context for the film. The film Big Trouble in Little China stars Kurt Russell, Dennis Dunn, released in 1986. Oh, by the way, the presentation still going to be on the canvas, so you can look at this yourself if you can't read it too well in the video. Yeah, box office failure, but it does become a cult classic in later years. During the DVD commentary, which I did watch to inform me a little bit making this, Kurt Russell says that he feels that the home video releases really made his career. Between this one, The Thing, and a couple other movies he was in, he felt like they really, if without that, he would not have made it to the stardom he has achieved. Like I said, the film's considered a cult classic, and by all metrics, it is excellent. What makes this movie great is not what I'm here to talk about, though. Well, a little bit, but what I'm here to talk about is what this movie did behind the scenes that I think this deserves to be discussed, much more than the content of the film. There's plenty of other people who have done that. That's been tread, it's been done to death. But in the context of this class, we talk about things like race and identity. I think that what happens in the making of this film is much more important than the film itself. So, Big Trouble in Little China, again, brief summary, just about the film, follows the adventures of Jack Burton, played by Kurt Russell. He is a semi-truck driver, and he's pulled unwillingly into this sort of adventure of magic, mysticism, and kung fu in San Francisco's Chinatown. Comedy is really strong, stems mostly from the main gag, which is that Kurt Russell is, the big, buff, white leading man. He's kind of the sidekick, actually. Dennis Dunn, who, not even featured on the poster, I might add, he's not on this one, is much more competent, much cooler. Yeah. So, the real hero, again, Dennis Dunn. Here we have a picture of Kurt Russell's Jack Burton looking very goofy after the kiss scene. He's got lipstick all over his face. Jack Burton is Short Round. So, the studio, when they greenlit this film, they thought they were getting the next Indiana Jones, right? They thought they were getting Indiana Jones in Chinatown. And what they got was Indiana Jones' sidekick. And Kurt Russell says as much. He says they thought they were getting Raiders of the Lost Ark. Indiana Jones' sidekick, little Asian guy played by Ke Huy Quan, who would go on to star in Everything Everywhere All at Once. Excellent film. Short Round, right? He's there for comedy relief. He's not super competent. He's kind of goofy. He's a silly little dude. In this film, that's Jack's role, right? Jack is this fish out of water, sort of goofy dude. No idea what's going on really at any time. There's a scene where he goes, "Now wait a minute here." After everything shit hits the fan, the exposition's happening. A lot of the Chinese Americans are discussing what's going on with the main villain, David Lo Pan. And Jack walks in and goes, "Now wait a minute, I'm kind of feeling like an outsider here. Somebody tell me what's going on." And this is hilarious because he absolutely is an outsider. He has no awareness of this whatsoever. So in that way, Jack Burton is kind of a really intelligent breakdown of this idea of the white man is the outsider that many other martial arts movies, especially at the time, blatantly disregard. Which I think I might be getting ahead of myself here. Yeah. So we'll touch on that a little bit more in a second. Carpenter casts just a ridiculous amount. That makes this sound bad. Carpenter casts a ridiculous amount, ridiculous being a hyperbole for a lot in this case, amount of Asian actors at a time when the norm was just yellowface or cast a bunch of white guys and just don't even acknowledge it, right? If we look at other films of the time, this is 1986. Jean-Claude Van Damme, huge. not exactly an Asian character, right? Other big martial arts movies at the time. What is the Legend of the Dragon? It's a Bruce-exploitation film. By and large, The Karate Kid. By and large, American Ninja. Sorry, by and large, white guy, kung fu, karate, martial arts, whatever. He goes to beat up a bunch of dudes. Not the case in this movie. There's like 3 white actors, I believe, maybe 4 technically, in this whole film. To the best of my knowledge, one of them has like 2 minutes of screen time. Everyone else is Asian American, or some of them actually come from China, like Carter Wong, legit martial artist. He did train some of the police in China in martial arts. We also have, of course, James Hong, also featured in Everything Everywhere All at Once. He is the iconic old man, as he is in every movie. James Liu, you've never heard of this guy, but he is a legend, again, in the martial arts world and in Asian film spheres. Dennis Dunn is the lead. He is the lead in this story from most perspectives, but the movie is told from Jack's perspective. So, yeah. And then, of course, we have Donald Lee, who plays Eddie. Yeah, so why is this great? Why is this movie great? I mean, okay, he cast a bunch of Asian guys. What's the big whoop? Well, John Carpenter went out of his way to talk to his actors, and he discusses this again in the DVD film. He says he was getting some backlash while this movie was getting made, and so he went out of, he was really feeling kind of bent out of sorts about this, and so he went and he talked to his actors. He was just like, hey man, are there problems with the way I'm portraying Chinese culture, or, and again, primarily Chinese American cast, and he talks to them about what's going on. He gets in their heads. So not only is he trying his very best to be aware, he's going out of his way to hire people who in this industry would not be hired for this. Another martial arts movie from the time, Remo Williams, The Legend Begins, Yellowface movie, white guy trained by another white guy with a bunch of like very stereotypical Asian makeup. It's incredibly problematic. John Carpenter does no such thing with his film here. So what makes this great? It's not a perfect depiction of Chinese culture though, and this is not what he was setting out to do. This is a brilliant subversion of a lot of the harmful stereotypes, though, that we see, right? He's not trying to say, look, here's what China actually is. He's not, though he did, again, talk to his actors, he's looking at what are the things that these people don't normally do, right? These guys, they don't star in movies, typically, in the States, right? Casting an Asian guy for your lead at this time never would have worked. He features just a ton of Asian actors, and he pays homages to many, many elements of culture and to Asian cinema that he loves. And these ones will kind of go over your head if you haven't seen a lot of kung fu movies, but there's a lot of great ones. He talks about numerous times about how much he loves Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, for example. And that about wraps us up. So I hope I was able to get this into as succinct of a package as I wanted. I apologize if I was a little harebrained. I meant to do this last night, but then I stayed up way too late actually making it, so I'm a little fuzzy on some of the details I was going to do. This is my second take. I also featured, in case you want to check them out, some behind-the-scenes content. A little clip with Dennis Dunn, who plays, again, he's the lead man in the story. Dennis Dunn's character knows what's going on. He's the one whose girlfriend gets kidnapped. He leads the charge into the underworld. He knows how to defeat David Lopan. And Jack Burton stumbles his way through. He's comedy. He helps out at key moments like any good sidekick should, but at no point is he the reason that they are successful. He is a contributing factor for sure, but he is not the hero, but he thinks he is. Which, again, just brilliant, I think, because how often does the white guy show up in someone else's world, do very little, and think he's the hero, right? I think that's just a brilliant satirization of not just cinema, but perhaps the way that the United States of America has seen itself for the last 100 years. Got an interview with Carter Wong. By the way, this microphone is fake. I'm holding it for dramatic effect. Not connected to the phone at all. Just, I thought it really, really added to the presentation. And plenty of other behind-the-scenes interviews during the making of the film down here. And I would, of course, definitely recommend checking out the DVD commentary with John Carpenter and Kurt Russell. This is hard to find unless you actually own the DVD. So if you don't want to purchase the DVD, what I would recommend doing, watch the film, and then on YouTube you can listen to the commentary. So it doesn't play as the. I mean, you don't actually get to see the film, but it's just the audio track. So once you know what's happening in the film, you can listen again, and they'll be like, "Oh, right here's when Kim Cattrall this or whatever." So yeah, absolutely would recommend. Thanks for tuning in. I hope you were, if not informed, at least entertained. And I guess I won't be seeing you. This is the last thing I'm submitting, but yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna put it on YouTube. Probably release it publicly because I don't know, who cares, right? Yeah. Thanks for watching, and give me an A, please.